My name is Jumana. I'm from Saudi Arabia.
My name is Rahaf. I'm originally Palestinian, but I was born in America.
If you're a bad person and you want to kill people, that doesn't say about your religion, you know?
So you're saying the same thing that your two Christian classmates said.
When I see this, I don't really associate it with Islam.
You don't associate it with Islam?
This doesn't represent us as Muslims.
When these guys would hold the sign, those Christians would never say like, oh, there's another Christian. That's a Christian who I disagree with. They're like, that person might as well be from Mars.
I don't think that the world view Christians as violent people just because of their religion. It's not the same as Islam.
Yeah. So you think the world more views Islam as violent?
Yeah. They view us as terrorists, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think the world does, or do you think some people do? Like these guys?
Not the world, but I see it all over social media when people make fun of us and just say that we're terrorists and make jokes about it.
What you have when you have a few immigrants, and in particular Muslim immigrants in Europe, committing a crime, and it becomes a sensational thing, like the first headline. Then you get like this, just that. Like, stay away, you're not welcome, or like this, right? And what this says, this is in Polish, and it's basically terrorism, Islam, Sharia, nie dziękuję. How is it that the burden is on, you guys, the two of you, to have to, if so many people in the world are looking at you in this way and judging you, like the burden on you to be all the time, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like a burden.
I feel like it definitely takes a toll on my mental health, I guess. Because if you're constantly thinking about something, then you start to believe it, and you start to believe that these people are just thinking about you like that. So I don't know, it's just always in the back of my mind.
Why is it such a big deal in your culture to decide to start wearing it? And what does it signify?
Okay, so listen, the other day, I talked about violence in Islam, okay? What do you say, what do the two of you as Muslims say about this kind of thing, right? So here we have the so-called Muslim killers, right? Here's ISIS. These guys, by the way, are some of the guys. This is Boko Haram, okay? These are Muslims who did this. What do you say about this when Muslims are committing so much violence? Like, how do you talk about it? What conversations do you have? Like, wow, that just happened. Like, damn. I just mean yourself. Do you talk about it?
Personally, no, I don't. But I don't think that it's that you should only say that it's just because they're Muslims. Like,
okay,
if you're a bad person and you want to kill people, that doesn't say about your religion, you know?
So you're saying the same thing that your two Christian classmates said, right? That's the same thing that they would say.
It's not all about religion.
It's not about religion.
Yeah.
So do you?
Yeah, I agree. I think with the headline in the news, I think it's weird that they would label it as Muslims. Yeah, you could say they're Muslim, but making it the main headline is kind of weird.
So as a Muslim American woman, as a Muslim American, when you see that headline, what do you think?
I don't know. It kind of makes me scared because this is just being shown out to the public. So and people who aren't educated just believe whatever they read. So if they see me out in the streets, they're gonna be like, "Oh, she's Muslim. Oh."
So
she's
Jamar
dangerous.
said the very first thing he says, why do they have to do that? Because that just turns people pointing at Muslims, right? So those are really kind words for you. Yeah.
And they're gonna blame it on Muslims. when you see these acts, people are gonna say, "Oh, it's just because they're Muslims." Like, if a Christian did that, would they say that it's because they're Christian?
No, we don't. But how about in the Middle East, that idea of Christian invaders, like seeing America as a land of Christians? How often have you thought about that? Because many of my Muslim friends in the Middle East think about that. You? Have you ever thought that?
No.
Have you ever heard anyone talk about that?
No.
What do they talk about when they talk about the U.S.? Just,
Land of freedom.
yeah?
Yeah.
It's just that. What do you think about, what do you talk about, or what have you learned about Christianity? But Jesus is an important prophet. By the way, if you don't understand, Jesus is actually, you can find Jesus more often than any other prophet in the Quran. So, what do you know or think about Christianity? Do you think about it at all? Do you guys ever study it?
Personally, no.
Do you ever study it?
No, I haven't.
So these guys, this is like, these are some Muslims. This is in Europe, right? Massacre, kill those who insult Islam. Now, what I said the other day, we were having this conversation, is just like when Christians hold signs, like there were these really radical Christian groups, and they would come to campus, and they were here a number of years ago, like really right outside this building, and they just hated everything. I don't even know what, they just hated. But these guys, right, kill those who insult Islam. Like, what do you say to yourself? And these are Muslims, so-called Muslims, right? What do you say to yourself when you see that?
This isn't really what Islam teaches us. Like, Islam literally means peace. So, I don't know. When I see this, I don't really associate it with Islam.
You don't associate it with Islam?
This doesn't represent us as Muslims.
When these guys would hold a sign, those Christians would never say, like, oh, there's another Christian, that's a Christian who I disagree with. They're like, that person might as well be from Mars. So can you say more about how you don't?
I mean, there could be Muslim, but they might not be religious or don't follow Islam correctly.
So, in other words, for you as Muslims, that's like really low-hanging fruit. I mean, what's it saying in the Quran, right? If you harm a single human being, it's like it's harming the whole world, right? You learn that growing up as Muslims. So what you're saying is, so for like these people here, they can say they're Muslims, just like we had a conversation, anybody can say they're Christian. But in your minds, you just don't include them.
Yeah, they don't represent us. But they can say they're Muslims.
But they do, yeah, they can. Anybody can say they're Christian, right? But they do represent you. These people represent you, right?
Like, do you think that with the majority of Christians that killed people, do you think that they represent Christianity?
No. But what happens is people who are looking on, people from the outside who are looking at them, like these kind of really radical Christians that seem to be not very Christian at all, and say like, oh, those are Christians. So then they become representative of all Christians. That's just how the human mind works, right? That's how we operate.
I don't think that the world view Christians as violent people just because of their religion. It's not the same as Islam.
Yeah. So you think the world more views Islam as violent?
Yeah. They view us as terrorists, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think the world does, or do you think some people do? Like these guys?
Not the world, but I see it all over social media when people make fun of us and just say that we're terrorists and make jokes about it.
But you see it here in the West. You don't see that. You don't see it at home at all, right?
No.
So
I just see it on social media. Okay,
but here, social media in the West, right? But in social media back in the Muslim world, are there lots of memes that you see? Do you see memes about Christians and about Jews? Yeah? Yeah, you don't see that. For better or for worse, these people do become representative of Islam because they help to sow the seeds of distrust and uncertainty and hate. And so then they are you. Like, people don't make a distinction, you know? I mean, that just is that's how human beings operate. So how's that for you when you see those folks? But you're saying like you just disregard them.
I think people only remember like the most extreme, like they don't really remember like the good in people, I guess. So like if they see something happen in the world that's like really terrible, that's like the only thing they remember about that specific group. So like
people are going to be inclined to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what's that say to you? I mean, what's that?
I think you can't really base your opinion off of one instance or one like thing that happened, basically. Like you have to do more research before having an opinion, especially one that's like super extreme, like all Muslims are terrorists.
This is out of Europe, right? So in Europe, when Muslims commit a crime, most Muslims don't commit crimes. Most immigrants, the crime rate among immigrants here in the United States and every country in the world, the crime rate among immigrants tends to be much lower than the crime rate among other groups, okay? Especially when those groups don't have full citizenship, then we tend to see lower crime rates. But what you have when you have a few immigrants, and in particular Muslim immigrants in Europe, committing a crime and it becomes a sensational thing, like the first headline, then you get like this, like, I mean, just that, like, stay away, you're not welcome, or like this, right? And what this says, this is in Polish, and it's basically terrorism, Islam, Sharia, nie dziękuję. Dziękuję means, nie means no, and dziękuję means thanks, like no thanks. Like this guy is saying, I don't want any of that. Muslims, go home. How is it that the burden is on like you guys, the two of you, to have to, if so many people in the world are looking at you in this way and judging you, like the burden on you to be good all the time, like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like a burden. Do you feel that or not? You're just being you?
I definitely feel like people are judging me all the time.
What are they judging you on?
Like my hijab.
What are they saying?
I don't know.
What do you think they're saying?
Well, obviously, like the first thing they see is like I'm Muslim, so like they associate me with like everything bad about the religion. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm. And how is so? I just want to go. I want to hit reset, and I want to go back. How is that for you?
I feel like it definitely takes a toll on like my mental health, I guess. Because like if you're constantly thinking about something, then you start to believe it, and like you start to believe that like these people are just thinking about you like that. So like, I don't know. It's just always in the back of my mind.
Can I say my opinion?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what she's thinking that people might look at her based on her hijab, that she's closed-minded person. And since that many people here are liberal, they might think that about her.
Yeah, so...
Because Muslims are religious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think people would say that she's closed-minded and she's... What else? Backward? Something?
Yeah, like extreme, I guess, because I wear the hijab.
So I have a question that pertains to wearing the hijab. I've seen videos on Instagram Reels and TikToks about how
hey, can you stand up, actually?
Yeah, about how families get really excited when they see their daughters that start to wear the hijab. Why is it such a big deal in your culture to decide to start wearing it? And what does it signify?
I guess like it just kind of signifies like getting closer to your religion, and like the family's like just really happy about that, because like I don't know, my parents were happy when I wore it, and they were like proud of me because it's not an easy thing to do, especially like in the West. So like just being like so strong, I feel like it signifies strength. Like
Dude,
you're able to wear it in the West.
Is that like wearing a cross? Is it similar for you or not? Many Christians wear crosses. So. Hijab is very noticeable, yeah. Hang on one second. Do you wear your cross in and out in different situations?
No, we don't. But like in my faith, like Orthodox, there's also like a lot of women that also veil as well.
Yeah.
So I see why, because like when I see Orthodox people like not veil, it doesn't really bother me at all. But like I can see why, like they don't like doing it. But
Yep. Huh. Hey, and like, were your parents happy when you decided not to? Well, you still could wear. You still might decide to wear it at some point, obviously. But she's saying her parents were happy. Were your parents unhappy when you didn't wear it?
To be honest, they weren't happy, but they just accepted it because it's my choice. I'm a grown woman, you know.
Yeah.
Make my own decisions. So.
I think that's what many people don't really sort of understand that part of it. But for some Muslim families, though, they would really force. Hey, bro. Yeah. They would really push you to be hijabi.
Yeah, it depends on the family and how strict they are.
Yep, got you.
I just have a quick question. Is there like a specific way of wearing hijab, or like, is there like a specific process, or like a specific way of wearing hijab?
There isn't like a specific way, but there's like different styles that people use. It's really just like up to the person wearing it. And like I struggled at first because I didn't know what looked good on me, like the different styles. And like I'm still like experimenting, I guess. But yeah, there's no like specific like way to wear it.